Hi, pagans, witches, and spiritual people. My name is Miss Steele, and I make weekly videos to help seekers and leaders overcome loneliness or find their pagan path and purpose. I also talk about things that you can do in the pagan wheel of the year. And I do this all by listening and storytelling. We take note from nature, who's starting to wake up underneath the snow in certain parts of the world and cleanse herself. So we do the same, and it's time for decluttering your home so that your physical space and your mind is decluttered so we can get to the spiritual. And so we begin at Imbolc, and for others at spring equinox, and it's time to declutter and cleanse our space and our minds so that we can actually reach spirit. But first, let's talk about how our homes get cluttered in the first place. Buying things or seeing things and grabbing them. When you first purchase something, it's new, it's exciting. There's a feeling of freshness, if you will, to the item. So the item is representing something new, and it differs from your routine, which has become humdrum. And actually purchase something releases some dopamine, which activates the brain's reward center, leading to feelings of pleasure, satisfaction, and even gives you a mood boost, although temporary. Purchasing something also has symbolic value. It can represent personal achievements or milestones, especially if you were given gifts as a reward system as for a child. And so this is a way subconsciously to keep rewarding yourself. It gives you a sense of achieving milestones without actually doing the work yourself. So it's like you're constantly looking for your next fix of dopamine. Now, all of us have a little bit of hoarding tendencies. Another thing it does is that it gives you this sense of, I can now make my own choices. Nobody can tell me what to do. And so purchasing something without anybody saying anything gives that boost of confidence as well, that you're able to make your own decisions. Buying something also enhances your self-esteem, so it boosts your confidence. But again, these are all temporary. Buying something enhances your perception of your own worth or your own status. I have all these things. And when you purchase something, you usually look forward to using it or placing it in an esteemed area so you can view it, and it's so lovely. It will bring you happiness and joy. It's important to note that all of these pleasurable feelings at the time are only temporary. Over time, the people that have used this technique for fulfillment and happiness don't understand that over time, some people have used this for fulfillment and happiness, and they don't realize that happiness is not in those material possessions. Happiness is not found in that matter by doing a spell. Doing a spell is not going to make your life better. Spells are not for those things. I know there's a lot of online places that will give you spells for these certain things, these are almost always fraudulent quacks that say there's some evil thing that has attached itself to you, and they're really just wanting your money. You yourself have the power to do all of these things, and you don't need spell work to do it. We save spell work for a major thing for our community. Most elder witches do not do spells for personal gain or to disrupt other person's life. We cannot control other people, and we shouldn't. It's their path, not ours. So we can only control ourselves. And so most witches get together to do spells for the community. Say there hasn't been any rain for a long time. But I'm digressing. Spells are not used for things that you're able to do yourself. If you're too lazy to put the work in, then you don't deserve a spell in the first place, because your spell will never work, because you've shown the universe that you won't work towards something. And the universe energies don't work that way anyways. So back to decluttering your home. Happiness and fulfillment come from experiences, relationships, personal growth, and a sense of purpose. So, what is the difference between collecting something and cluttering and to full-blown hoarding? They say people with a lot of clutter in their homes have higher anxiety, depression, social isolation, and a hard time concentrating on tasks or even remembering things. It's like ADHD symptoms. Even if they don't have it, they might think they do. But this is caused by clutter. You can say, well, what's wrong with collecting stuff? I enjoy doing it. And truthfully, we all are a bit of a pack rat at times, most people, but some people get out of control. And so pagans, we like collecting tarot cards, and we might collect dragons like myself. We collect books, at least the old witches did. Some people have tons of crystals, but these are all secondary to the craft. I mean, they can be used, but again, it's like spell work. But any pagan can go overboard for the wrong reasons. Some people just collect a bunch of stuff to be cool. Then there's other people, well, maybe they collect wine because they like different types of wine. Then there's the parents that love to collect all their kids' projects. Then there's the photo album person. Then there's the sports memorabilia guy. There's the coin collector. There's the rock t-shirt collector and other rock memorabilia. There's all sorts of collectors. And for those of you that don't collect anything, it's quite common to get our house in clutter. I know when I work around my desk, my papers build up, and sometimes I'll leave dishes in the sink because I just am too focused on bringing you guys content. And even if you're neat all the time, you can't tell me that you don't have a junk drawer somewhere. And some of you, do you have a clutter room where you just pile things up in? Maybe it's off limit to guests. You close the door. I think then your stuff has become too much. So let's learn the differences between clutter, collecting, and hoarding. Collecting, as what I was saying, you could be collecting crystals, or you could be collecting stamps, coins, figurines, guitars. It doesn't matter what you're collecting. These items are purchased through a planned search and are limited in number. So they're very, very rare. That's a collector. These items are usually stored in a sacred looking place. They're displayed well. They're in one area of your house. Maybe you've designated a bookshelf or one area on the wall, but it does not take over all of your living space. It does not take over any room. It does not take over your walls. If you have no space on your walls, this is clutter. Collecting does not cause financial stress, usually. Sometimes if there's this specific item that's cost a lot and you want to complete your set, it could set you back a bit. But still, it's not taking over a room. It's not taking over your entire walls. It's not turning your house into clutter. It does not cause impairment at your workspace. In your social life, if it's affecting your mate or your roommates, there's hardly any place for anybody to go but their rooms. Is it causing fights with your family, your spouse, your friends? Has anybody pointed it out? It's no longer collecting. So again, collecting is collecting a specific type of item that is displayed in one area of your house. It could be one wall, one bookshelf, but it's in one area of your house and it does not take up the whole room. That is called collecting. Clutter. Clutter is items around you that you did not plan to get, but you just happened to see them and thought, oh my God, I have to get that. They may or may not be a specific theme. Clutter is when your home is disorganized. So you have messy books and papers in one area, around your tabletop, your desk, your coffee table, or thrown in a closet or drawer. Clutter is when stuff is unorganized, even if it's in your attic, basement, closet, garage. Clutter is when your unorganized stuff starts trickling out through other areas of your house and is not in the place it belongs. But clutter is still not preventing you from moving around that space. And the thought of getting rid of these items is not causing you distress. This is clutter. Hoarding. Hoarding is when the display is not a certain theme anymore. It could be many themes and many different types of items. The items were not acquired in a planned fashion, but sight, spur of the moment purchases. So you could have got them at the side of the road. You are frequently going to the secondhand stores. You are frequently seeing items at other vendors, acquiring them to resell, or maybe you just like stuff that reminded you of something. It's causing financial stress. Your spending may be excessive, so much so that you're paying for a space to hoard your items because they no longer fit in your home. If you didn't plan to buy this specific item, that has become hoarding. So if you planned to go out and find a specific item to buy, then that's okay. It's part of collecting, as long as you're not going into all these rooms. Hoarding really is a slow process, and you don't even know what's happening until it starts to become a problem. Now, the hoarding show is focused on the most extreme cases. So people that don't have those extreme cases don't feel bad. They don't think that their clutter or their hoarding tendencies are hurting anybody. They might not have dead cats somewhere, or garbage piled up, but it's still hoarding piled up. So they think they're different. That money that you're buying endless stuff and you have no more room for could go to your retirement, could go to put yourself or your spouse or your children in school. If it's causing conflict with your spouse, why aren't you listening? The state of your home has a huge impact on yourself and others' health and safety. There's sanitation concerns. You can deny that all you want, but they are there. There's structural issues. All hoarders deny this and refuse to see it. And it's bad when there are efforts to clean up a place and the hoarder has a hard time throwing it in the garbage and would prefer to set it aside because they might use it later, or they might fix the item later, or it could be a great sale. This, you can tell, then is causing great stress on the person who has a hard time throwing it out. So those are the three categories: collecting, clutter, and hoarding. Why does it matter anyways to other people? Well, having too much stuff is actually dangerous. I mean, people can't walk around something without tripping on it. And if it's dark at nighttime, someone could really hurt themselves. Or it's hard to pass each other in the hall because your hallway is cluttered with stuff on your walls or bookshelves or shelves. In addition to all that, even if you don't care about all that, it's dusty. The air can't flow properly in your home. So everywhere in your home is collecting all that negative energy. If you had a fight in your home, it's not gone. It's pretty much stuck in that area because there's no airflow. And without proper airflow, you get things like pollutants, allergens, and other harmful particles just floating all around in the air. You can't see it, but you can see your dust. Imagine taking every single one of your items in your house and dusting it off. Is it possible to do in an hour? Most places can be dusted in an hour. These air pollutants and the way there's no airflow causes mold. It starts to sink, but you've probably gone nose blind to it. But it's a highly allergenic organism that causes chronic inflammation in your body. So if you have inflammation type stuff in your body, I'm 95% sure that a lot of it is caused by your environment. Usually the root cause of most illnesses is not being able to have a clean space and mind. Lack of airflow also contributes to uneven temperatures throughout your home. So some areas will feel too hot and other areas might feel too cold. If you have too much stuff, you can't even properly remove settled dust. Even if you had like a crew dusting everything off, if you have too much stuff, the dust cannot even be properly removed. Dust buildup can cause serious health problems in itself, even if you don't have mold. It includes serious lung infections and raises, in rare cases, even death. So if you don't think that you're causing health problems to other people in the room, think again. Also, majorly cluttered houses or hoarding houses cause great anxiety to people like me who are autistic. There's just too much. It's overwhelming. Add people to the mix. I have to go outside in a lot of places that are really cluttered. In bars, for example, that's the worst place to come up and hug me. Yet, some people try and hug me in bars. There's too much stimuli, there's too much noise, and it's the same with clutter. It's just too much. And lastly, it's a fire hazard. Badly. Plain and simple. So you have to ask yourself, are you putting your family or tenants at risk? Do you deny and lie to yourself that you don't have a problem so you can be justified not listening to the complaints of others? Do you think that your cluttered walls, even though it's not on the floor, do you think that your cluttered walls don't have a negative impact on other people, especially their well-being? Let's check the mental symptoms of you or people in your home. Do they have feelings of overwhelm a lot? Do they seem to have increased stress that you blame on mental illness? You're broken for life, which is not true. Do you never really feel relaxed in your home? How about others? They have to be doing something because they can't just sit and relax. Do you or they have a hard time focusing in your home? Because a cluttered home causes anxiety and a sense of unease. It's hard to concentrate and it's hard to be productive in any way. You probably start projects but never finish. Or you get other people to because you think it's your own mental health. But really, it's your clutter. We have to get underneath the clutter so that we can find the root of the problem with the mental health in the first place. But a lot of people keep clutter around because they don't want to deal with themselves. It's become their security blanket, and they don't want to look at themselves. Some people like to stay a victim. And having too much stuff on your walls also creates an energy, because everything has energy. Energy doesn't die. So what's absorbing into these things? Like I said, if you're fighting in there, if you're had crying in there, if you have any negative emotion in your house, there's no airflow to get that stuff out of there. So your house itself becomes sick, causing everybody in it to become sick. Once you move out of that house, it's like a burden has lifted. You can be free, you find clarity, and I want to help you. I really do. I want to help you find that clarity and really heal what's going on. So subconsciously, you've collected all this stuff because you didn't know how to make a boundary. So this clutter is making a boundary for you. But what it's doing is preventing you from having authentic connection with other people. Something that you were lacking probably in the first place. So it becomes that you're validating your own feelings of being unworthy. And you're not. No one is unworthy. But these walls eventually create feelings of extreme loneliness. Nobody cares. All your friends have gone. But that's not true. You yourself have pushed them away. And you might be doing it unconsciously, but this is what's happening. I do know about loneliness, though. I was never a hoarder, but I've had extreme loneliness. And I felt that all my life. So I know what it feels like to feel flawed. I don't want you to feel flawed at all, because you are important. I'm important. We are all important. And people do care. If you allow yourself to change your mindset, and we can do this together, and you watch the rest of my videos from part 1 on, this is the intro, we are going to address that clutter. And when we do, we're going to do it in small chunks. So from those who have just a little bit of clutter to those who have hoarding issues, we're going to do this. And we're going to do it together. Those that have a little bit of clutter, you'll be done a lot faster. But those who are having difficulty, we are only going to do small little baby steps. It's not even going to be an hour, right? We're going to go tiny, and you'll be able to do this. I'm telling you, I'm going to be there step by step with you. And I'm going to tell you that once you get rid of your clutter, you are going to have less anxiety. A lot of your physical symptoms you've been feeling are going to disappear. I know that sounds like bullshit, but it's not. Ask other experts in this clutter field if you don't believe me. Either way, we're going to do this process together, and I look forward to helping you in my next videos. Have a great day, and remember that you are special. You are here to do something that nobody else in the universe can do. Your voice is different than everybody else's voice. Your experiences are different than anybody else, and those experiences are gold. So chin up, smile, you're beautiful, and I'll see you soon.